This is All India Radio, Power of Listening. Under the series, tonight we take you on a journey to the world of yet another magnificent facet of the traditional Indian knowledge systems, Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. In today's episode, we shall be discussing on this beautiful thought of Upanishad. The experts are Dr. Bhagyalata Pataskar, Educationist, Indologist and former director, Vedic Sanshodhan Mandal, and Veena Raj, researcher and fellow at the Bhandarkar Oriental Research Institute. Stay tuned.
Om Bhadram Karnebi Shrunuyama Deva Bhadram Pashyemakshabirya Jatraha Stirairankaistushtuvam Sastanubhihi Vyashema Deva Hidam Yadayuhu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Let us always hear good and see good. Let our body be strong to worship the truth. Namaskar. Me, Veena Raj, is in conversation with Dr. Bhagyalata Pataskar. Today, we will be focusing on human beings and surroundings. We saw that the Anandamaya Kosha is the subtlest of all koshas and it is the seat of the source of all creation. If we come out of it and proceed to each kosha outside, it will end at the Annamaya Kosha and everything becomes our Anna. Our environment and surroundings shape us. Taittiriya Upanishad tells us the gist of our existence in 5 adhikaranas. Athata samhitaya Upanishadam vyakhyasamaha panchasvadhikaraneshu adhilokam, adhijaudisham, adhivityam, adhiprajam, adhyatmam. Then it describes what is adhilokam. The adhilokam is as follows. Prithvi purvarupam, dhyauruttararupam, Akasha santihi, Vayu sandhanam ityadhilokam. The earth is the prior form, the heaven the latter form, the ether is their junction, the air is the connection. This is with regard to the world. In the Veda, Dhyava Prithvi is considered as a divine celestial couple. The heavens and the earth are a father and mother and they give birth to all the creation we see. Are we aware of the importance of these units? Are we making efforts to know it? If only we know them properly, can we preserve them? Ma'am, after seeing all this Mahasamhita and this Pancha Adhikarana, I think everything is seen in the Upanishad in 3 dimensions. Can we hear from you? What are those dimensions, ma'am?
Yes. The Upanishadic seers mainly thought of 3 dimensions of almost every concept. First is Adi Atman. Atman here means the body. So Adhyatman means whatever is related to the body or whatever is in our body.
Yes.
In our body there is mind, there is speech, there are the sense organs, etc. So all this complex is Adhyatma. Then the next dimension is Adhibhautika. Whatever is surrounded comes under Adhibhautika. So human being is center and around human being everything is Adhibhautika. But one should remember that these are not 2 separable entities.
Yeah.
They may be distinguishable. Yes, there is distinction, but they cannot be separated. They cannot be fragmented. They are intimately related because whatever is Adhyatma has its base in Adhibhautika.
Yeah.
So Mana, mind, is related to Chandramaha. Vak, speech, is related to Prithvi, etc. So whatever is in Adhyatma has its connection in Adhibhautika. So this is the second dimension. And see here, the Upanishadic seers have visualized the intimate relationship between what we call traditionally Pinda and Brahmanda, our body and outside the body. Then the third dimension is Adhidaivika dimension. Adhidaivika dimension defies all these entities. We have mind. Mind is related to Chandramaha and Chandrama is Devata. When mind is related to Chandramaha, it is Adhibhautik aspect of that entity. But when Chandramaha is taken as the Devata, it is deification of Chandrama. So the result is whatever is outside, whatever is divine is in our body, or whatever is in our body has close relationship with the outside world, and that too is the divine aspect. So these are the three dimensions described in almost all the Upanishads. This is their favorite topic. Then another point, you will be surprised to know that each and every Upanishad, really each and every Upanishad talks about Pancha Mahabhutas, 5 elements. Context may be different. For example, in Chandogya Upanishad or the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, the context is creation, where from the human being has come out of Sat, but not directly from Sat. From Sat, Akash, from Akash up, that is water, then Prithvi, earth, and then etc. etc. In last episode, we have discussed this topic. So here, the point is close relationship between human beings and his surrounding. There is no word for nature. English, what we call nature, I think there is no such word. There are the words Pancha Mahabhutas. But Pancha Mahabhutas are not different from human being. Human being is also formed of Pancha Mahabhutas.
Yes.
The Vedantins have theoretized the entire matter. Our eye is Tejasa Indriya. It is from Tejas. Then there is Akash in the Shrotra, etc. So whatever is in Pancha Mahabhuta or whatever are the Pancha Mahabhutas, our body preserves it, and whatever is in our body is closely related to Pancha Mahabhutas. It is not that human being is different one and nature is different one. Both of them, these are the integral part of the absolute one. And then the consequence is, the Upanishadic seers, even the Puranic seers, they never thought of consuming the nature for our pleasure. All our rituals, all our festivals, all our celebrations and all our upasanas, they aim at co-living with the nature.
Yeah, there's a close relationship between the individual and the world. That is why the Taittiriya Upanishad again says Adhibhuta Prithvi Antariksham Dyaur Disho Avantara Dishaha Agnir Vayuradityas Chandrama Nakshatrani Apa Oshadayo Vanaspadaya Akasha Atma Ityadhibhutam. As ma'am said, we have seen the Pancha Mahabhutas. Akasha, the ether, Vayu, air, Teja, Agni, Apa, waters, and Prithvi, earth, which is the grossest of all the elements. And since there is a close relationship between all these elements themselves and with all the existence we see, any imbalance will have its adverse effect on our life. It all affects us. There's a beautiful description of Advaita in the Aitareya Upanishad, which tells us, Om Atmava idameka evagra asit nanyat anyat kinchana mishat sa ikshata lokanusrajaiti. To refute the duality or Dvaita of other philosophies, the Upanishad tells us that there is only one, that is the self. In the beginning, the self was all this, nothing else whatsoever moved. The self thought, let me now create the worlds, and the manifest world came into existence, slowly one after the other. If everything has come from one, who made this difference? We, because of our ignorance. That is why the Ishavasya Upanishad tells us, Yasmin sarvani bhutani atmeva bhut vijanataha tatra ko mohaha kaha shokaha ekatvam anupashyataha. The rishis experienced this unity that everything exists in the self, and it is in the self itself, which becomes everything. Knowing this, one is free from all delusion and misery. Tatra ko mohaha kaha shokaha. This expansion of the mind, of the personality, this knowledge is the target of the Upanishads. If individuals understood this truth, the world sure will become a beautiful place. Isn't it, ma'am? How the Upanishad, the Vedas, instructs differently. For the Samaveda, the instruction is different. For the Yajurveda, the instruction is different.
Veena ji, yes, your question is good question. But for this, I think it would be better if we see this ashrama system. In Brahmacharya ashram, a child goes to his guru, and guru teaches him Vedas and whatever the Shastra he needs. But beyond that, we have several stories and examples where guru sends him out of his ashram. That is, guru sends him into the nature. And for what? That he should take message, he should learn from nature. You know that story, Veena ji, that Satyakam
Yeah, ma'am,
story.
Satyakama Japala.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, when we come to the level of instruction, it is not that from any lecture or debate or Shastra Charcha, just
Correct.
by keenly observing our surroundings and the nature, this can be achieved. That's a story of Satyakama Jabala. The young boy is sent by his guru to the forest with 400 lean, weak cows with the Upadesha. Don't come back till these become 1,000. He stays in the forest for many years, and one day a bull, Rishabha, tells him, we have become 1,000 and please take us to your teacher. But how does a bull speak? Shankaracharya tells us, Satyakama was equipped with Shraddha, faith and tapa, austerity, that the deity of air, Vayu Devata, and the cotters, Disha, were satisfied with him. He did so much of austerity and tapa that the Vayu Devata and the Disha, the cotters, after becoming satisfied, they entered the bull and it spoke. And the bull told Satyakama Jabala, let me declare to you 1/4 of the Brahman. Similarly, he is given Brahmajnana by whom all? Second Agni Devata, then a Hamsa, then last a humble Madgu, that is a water bird, gives him the remaining knowledge regarding Brahmajnana.
Correct. So this was the inbuilt in the system that student goes outside the four walls and gains knowledge.
Yeah.
Then comes Grihasthashram.
Yeah.
In Brahmacharya ashram, he has gained knowledge from nature, living in nature, living with nature. And in Grihasthashram, he feeds nature because it is mandatory to the Grihastha to perform Agnihotra. And there is one verse, beautiful verse in the Chandogya Upanishad that says that the Grihastha performs the Agnihotra, and through that he feeds, he nourishes the Pancha Mahabhutas. As mother nourishes child, the Grihastha nourishes Pancha Mahabhutas. So this is the nourishment. Then Vanaprastha. Then the person goes to forest. The name itself will indicate that he goes to forest. And what does he do there? Again comes into the contact with nature. And what does he do? Meditate. He meditates and he tries to understand the integrity among the elements around him and also himself, and integral relationship between himself and whatever is around him. So there are meditation patterns. Veena ji just asked whether these patterns differ. Yes, they do differ. Because one who has learned Samaveda and practiced Samaveda throughout his life, for him the meditation pattern should be from Samaveda.
Yes, ma'am.
And in Samagana there are 5 parts, as there are stanzas in the lyrics. There is Hinkara, there is Prastava, there is Udgita, there is Pratihara, and there is Nidana for each Sama. These are the parts of the Sama. Then that Chandogya Upanishad says that he should go in the Vanaprastha and he should meditate that Vasanto Hinkaraha. The spring is Hinkara, first part. Grishma, the summer, is Prastava, next part. Varsha, rainy season, is Udgita, third part of the Sama. Sharat is Pratihara, autumn, fourth part. And Hemanta is the last part of the Sama. He knows Sama, so in terms of Sama, he is
asked to meditate.
Explained, he is told to meditate. And through that he will understand the integrity in the seasons. Like this, integral relation between the animals, the trees, the seasons, the human beings, and then all is tried in the Chandogya Upanishad. Okay, he is familiar with Samagana, he is told in terms of Sama. But one who is involved in Yajna, or who was in his previous ashram involved in Yajna, for him, yes, there is another pattern in his familiar terminology. In the Brihadaranya Upanishad, it is at the beginning, Ushava Ashvasya Medhyasya Shiraha Suryas Chakshuhu, etc. Entire nature
is condensed.
Is condensed and is thought of Ashva, horse of Ashwamedha.
Yeah.
Entire nature, nothing remains. Surya, Chandra, even Samvatsara and various
mountains,
quarters and mountains, everything, whatever you think around us or around you, is a horse of, and that is not any horse, Ashwamedha horse, so the divine one.
Yeah.
This is another aspect. So the person should meditate in this way that the nature is. So this is the Vanaprastha ashram. And once he meditates and experiences the integral relationship between whatever is around him and even inside him, even between himself and around him, then slowly he experiences Sarvam Khalu Idam Brahma, that is the sannyasa ashram.
Yeah.
So each and every step of his life, while he is marching to the utmost Purushartha Moksha, goes through nature.
In the Chandogya Upanishad, we have the story of Shvetaketu, who is being instructed by his father. After getting the knowledge of all the Vedas, he comes to his father with so much of arrogance and he asks this question, has your guru told you everything? Knowing which, everything becomes known to you. The son was ignorant and he surrenders to his father and asks him, please instruct me on Brahman. Such a beautiful story it is, ma'am. And we can see all the examples which the father takes for explaining the Mahavakya, Tattvamasi, is so close to nature.
Yes, really very beautiful story. And not only beautiful, but it exemplifies how a child should be instructed or educated.
Yeah.
I think the best method of educating the child, that Shvetaketu, when tells his father that no, my teacher did not teach me, ekena jnatena sarvam vijnatam bhavati, that by knowing one, everything will be known. Then father tells him, okay, doesn't matter, come here, bring the fruit of that banyan tree. And Shvetaketu brings the fruit of banyan tree. Okay, break it. He breaks. What is inside? A seed. Okay, take it out. Break it. Then Shvetaketu breaks it. What is inside? Nothing. Nothing. If there is nothing inside the seed, then how come the tree comes from this seed? The father asks the question and stimulates his thought to this direction, that if one doesn't see anything, it doesn't mean that there is nothing. There is something which we cannot see, which we may not be able to see, which may be beyond our sense organ. This is how the father instructs him. All the instructions are from the natural surrounding. And then father tells him, where from that tree comes, it is invisible. And finally again the tree will go into that invisible entity in form of again fruit and seed, etc. So that invisible entity where from everything comes and in which everything goes, which because of which the thing sustains, Tattvam Asi. You are that. This is how father instructs him. Several times Shvetaketu asks him, again tell me, again explain me, please illustrate it. And father goes on giving examples from nature. These are from nature because this is the actual experience. We know the fruit, we know the seed, we can break the seed and we can see inside the seed, etc. So whatever we experience in our day-to-day life, through that the teacher instructs. There is another illustration in the same Upanishad. When one has the Brahma Anubhav, the experience of Absolute One, Brahman, his individual identity goes. There is, whether he is human, a man or a woman or caste and creed and nothing remains in that state. And the example is Yatha Nadyaha Syandamanaha, as different rivers with their names, with their different shapes, where from they have different origin, and all of them they go to sea and they merge into the sea, and their different entity merges into the sea. This is how the Brahma Anubhav, the experience of Brahman is. So there are several examples or illustrations taken from the nature itself to give the experience of Brahma Anubhav. And this is only because the Upanishadic seers were living with nature, were living in nature. They have nature around them, they have nature in their mind, they have nature in their intellect, in their speech, in their imagination, and therefore they could explain everything in terms of nature. Even they could shape their life with nature.
We saw that Satyakama Jabala went to the forest and tended the cows. He got Brahmajnana from all the gurus we saw. What did you do after that? We saw that he didn't attend any class. There was no exam. The nature became his teacher. He came back to his guru with the cows, and the guru looks at him and the guru recognizes that this boy has already got the Brahmajnana. How? Because he says, Brahma vidivave saumya bhasi. Your face is shining. There is a lustre of the knowledge of Brahman. The guru, understanding the power of nature, being a greater guru than himself, sent that boy who was patra, who was eligible for that knowledge directly from nature. It shows that as a student we should be so tuned to the nature, we should be so receptive that the knowledge will come to us on its own. Immense is the scope of observation as a means of acquiring knowledge. As I said, our surroundings shape us. We have to just listen to our surroundings, nature. what they are telling us. Are they satisfied or are they being tormented? Beware, it is all going to affect us. No force can protect us from the damage which nature, once dissatisfied, unleashes. We are the children of Mother Earth. As in the Atharva Veda, the Prithvi Sukta tells us, Mata Bhumihi Putroham Prithviyaha. We are the children of Mother Earth, and for everything we depend on this earth, and so much care and caution we have to undertake, we have to have when we are dealing with our nature, our surroundings, because if we upset the rhythm of nature, the word rita, that means there is a rhythm of everything. The seasons come at their time. The rain will come in the correct measure and at the correct time. The spring will come at the correct time. Who decides all these things? There is an internal truth, there is an internal rhythm for everything, which as human beings we should not upset. That is a great message which the Upanishads tells us, which the Upanishads wants to teach us. And as ma'am has said, the ashramas were all designed in that manner. The brahmacharin goes to the nature, learns something. The grihastha feeds the nature. And as a vanaprasthi, he go-backs to nature, and sannyasi becomes one with nature. And this is the gist of what we can take from the Upanishads regarding our existence and our surroundings. In this note, let's end with the Shanti Mantra. Om Bhadram Karne Vishrunayama Deva Bhadram Pashyema Akshavaryajatraha Sthirairangai Stushtuvam Stastanubhi Veshema Deva Hitam Yadayu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. You heard the 19th episode of our all-new series on traditional Indian knowledge systems, Power of Listening. The experts in this discussion were Dr. Bhagyalata Pataskar, Educationist, Indologist and former Director, Vedic Sanshodhan Mandal, and Veena Raj, Researcher and Fellow at the Bhandarkar Oriental Research Institute. We hope you enjoyed it. This series has been conceptualized by Shashi Shekhar Vempati, CEO Prasar Bharati, and produced by Neelima Patwardhan and Vinod Kumar. Special thanks to All India Radio Pune, Amol, Parth and Randheer Thakur for their contributions. This episode is also available on our official YouTube channel, Akashvani AIR. Be there on the 11th of February, same time, same frequencies. Bye for now.